After 1,500 boring miles, the Subaru is finally broken in and ready to be tuned. We're ready to make some boost. We're ready to make this TD04 Turbo hate its life. The break-in period went really smoothly. All the driving was very boring, very lacking of power, but it went smoothly, nothing broke. Before we get this thing tuned, before we get it making boost, it's time to make it look the part. So in this video, we are going to be lifting my Subaru WRX and installing some new, bigger, meatier, off-roadier wheels and tires. Now I know what you're thinking.
Gingium, why the heck are you wasting all your time putting new suspension and new wheels and tires on a Subaru that you're gonna get rid of because you're gonna be putting the engine into a
Miata? And you're right, this is going bye-bye. But what's not going bye-bye is the entire drivetrain. For the Rally Miata swap, we are using all the suspension, the wheels and tires, and the engine. So this suspension that we're gonna be putting on this car today will be going on the Rally Miata very soon, actually. The reason why we're doing it now is because, I'll be honest, the main reason is because it's gonna make the Subaru look awesome. But it will also help us set up the Rally Miata swap. Now, I'm not gonna show you the wheels and tires until a little bit. You guys have to wait. But let me get the suspension and show you what we got. This thing's kind of big, just a little bit. So this is a brand new strut spring assembly from the same year, Subaru Forester, 2003 Subaru Forester. The really cool thing about Subarus is their suspension is kind of like Legos. Parts from a bunch of different models are interchangeable with each other, and different combinations will create different setups. I want to talk about that in depth, but first, I want to get the stock struts out there so we can really compare how much bigger, how much beefier these are. This will lift this Subaru anywhere from 4 to 6 inches. Every single strut is out of this lovely Subaru. We have all of the new ones and the old ones lined up. Here are the fronts, here are the rears. Let me go ahead and talk about the differences in all the different types of struts and springs and top hats you can use on a Subaru. All right, so. I wrote in permanent marker again. Damn it. Nothing a little goof off won't fix and smear, but. There we go. That gets the permanent marker right off. So you have an Impreza, or you have an Impreza WRX, or WRX STI, and you want to lift it. Firstly, let's talk about struts. So 03 to 08 Forester struts will fit in an 02 to 07 Impreza. If you have a different year Impreza, then you have to get a different top hat and modify that. The Forester struts themselves are 2 inches taller than the WRX struts. So if you just install Forester struts, you lift your car 2 inches. Now springs, you can either use your Impreza springs, you can use your Forester springs, or you can use Forester XT springs. Forester springs are taller than Impreza springs, so if you use Forester springs, that will lift your car an additional inch to 2 inches. Forester XT springs are the same height as normal Forester springs, but they're a little bit stiffer. So if you want that taller ride height with a stiffer ride, then you can use Forester XT springs. Now one of the main problems when you lift your Impreza is that the rear trailing arm angle is really, really tall, so it brings the rear tire really close to the inside fender. You wanna guess what you can do? You can get a rear trailing arm bracket out of a Outback, I believe, and that is 2 inches taller. It will lower it 2 inches, and it will make that geometry back to good. The other thing you can do is you can get an adjustable trailing arm. Doesn't work as well, but it does work. In our case, we can make something. So I'm gonna make a little 2-inch spacer for the back. So for this setup, we're using Forester struts and Forester springs. That will give us a 3 to 4 inch lift. But since the car previously had lowering springs, that lowered it about 2 inches, it should give us a 5 to 6 inch lift over what it was. And of course, if you wanna go even crazier with your lift, you can get strut top spacers. Once you start doing that though, when you get above the 4-inch lift territory over stock, steering geometry, suspension geometry starts to get out of whack and you have to do some heavier modifications. So you can tell it's a long ways off, so it looks like I'm gonna have to remove the sway bar on this side to get this to come down all the way.
Would you believe if I told you that I don't wanna go back? I'm just afraid that I'll lose you.
All right, all the Forester struts are in. The rear struts were definitely more difficult than the front struts. We had to fight the control arms. We really had to push down, and yeah, it was difficult. I certainly worked up a sweat while I was wearing this awesome Boost Bunker hoodie. If you guys want to go get some Boost Bunker merch, head down in the description. This is not my merch. You wouldn't be supporting me by doing that, but you'd be supporting Pasha and Boosted John, and they're my friends, so check them out. But it is a little warm. Let's look at these new wheels and tires now, shall we? Oh, the new Subaru and eventually Rally Miata wheels and tires. This is a Terra Black in a 16 by 7.5, I believe. We have a Continental Viking Contact 7 wrapped around these wheels, and that is a winter tire. So these will be winter daily tires for the Subaru, and once we do the all-wheel drive swap, these will be the daily wheels for the Miata. Something that is really streetable, handles good on pavement, but also has a little bit more aggressive tread than a street tire. Obviously, this is like a rallycross inspired wheel. That's why I went with this wheel. I love rallycross inspired wheels and Subis, and I think this would look really awesome on the Miata. This is a 27-inch overall diameter, a little bit more than 27-inch. Those are 23 or 24 inches, so these are 3 or 4 inches bigger in diameter, so we might have to cut some stuff, but there's only one way to find out. So let's find out. So my biggest concern is the front of this tire to right here because of the trailing arm. That's a no. There we go. Oh my goodness. It's so tall. Wow, so much wheel gap. It's pretty stiff too. So it looks pretty crazy. The front has a little bit of positive camber, and this back is pretty close to the front. It's not rubbing, but it is pretty close. We'll lift it up, try to get that front situated, try to get this side situated, and then take it for a drive. So that right there is where the rear trailing arm bolts to the chassis. You can tell that the angle is pretty severe. So if we space this mount down, that will correct the angle and push this wheel towards the rear of the car a little bit more. Let's do this. Ladies and gents, as per usual, Gingium has just hit a stroke of bad luck. So I'm taking off this side, and that bolt, the nut that's welded on the inside of the frame rail, started spinning. So there's literally no way to get that bolt out without cutting it. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You think it's gonna sink like, you know, good 6 inches, but it doesn't.
The Subi is officially taller than the Rail Miata.
It's pretty awesome.
Ground clearance is pretty similar, but this thing just feels so much taller than the Rail Miata. I mean, like, look at it.
Feels like you're getting into like a SUV.
Yeah, it feels like it rides really nice. Brand new suspension. It's not like super soft, but it does have some body roll. Oh yeah, feel that lean. I like it though. Like, it makes it feel more off-roady.
Oh.
This thing's actually cool now. I feel like I'm driving a cool car again instead of some ugly stock rusty WRX.
You're gonna get a lot of Subi waves now.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gents, that is it. That is the Subaru with its new lift kit and off-road tires. This definitely makes me want to buy another, like, nice bug eye, because I love the bug eye, and lift it with these same setup. Like, it looks really good. Maybe future daily, who knows? Before we swap everything into the Rail Miata, we are gonna have fun with this thing. I kind of even want to, if we find a good day, take the Rail Miata and this thing to the cliffs and do a little battle. All drive with winter tires versus rear-wheel drive with mud tires. That'd be kind of fun. Hopefully in the next video we get this thing tuned, we can have some fun with it. If you guys want to support the channel, please check out Patreon. I really appreciate it. All you guys make stuff like this possible. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I also really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.